What's going on? Welcome back to the Tosche Station podcast. Oh my god, the show is not underwater. We are still alive. At least I think. I hope.
Barely.
We are.
No,
We are.
we're drowning.
We're
but
drowning.
not
We're
in that.
we're drowning in our sorrows.
When
Of
was our last actual, when was the last time that we recorded an episode?
My
um.
man, we ain't gotta go that deep. We don't gotta go that deep. It's okay. Just embrace
But
that we're
put it
recording
this
and
way:
we're
a
gonna
lot has
move
happened.
on.
It's only been 2 months. That's not too bad.
It could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
I mean,
It's
it could have
been
been better.
worse.
It's been worse. Yeah, it has. Shut up. A lot has happened since our last top, which is actually kind of why I like taking these long breaks, because it seems like we get little news droplets here and there, and then when we finally, come to make an episode, we have a whole lot to talk about. And let's just start with the news that was dropped today.
Oh, I must have missed this.
December 5th.
Oh,
no,
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Jedi
Yes, sir.
Fallen Order sequel, Jedi Survivor,
Jedi
has
Survivor.
been given a release date and has been given a date for gameplay. I believe the gameplay date was the 8th, so I think that's Thursday. And I think
3
the
days from
release
now.
date is the 15th
March
of
15th?
March, the same day as Mandalorian comes out.
Oh
So
no. Oh
we
no.
have
Oh,
we have
No, you know what? No, you
what?
know what, David? That's perfect. That way, as the game's installing and taking forever,
Yeah, I could
you
finish
can watch Mando.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, my
Yeah.
Disney marketing genius.
100. What was it? 130 gigabytes?
Yeah, dude.
Perfect.
That's
The
insane.
dude, it took me freaking like 3 hours just to download Modern Warfare 2, and that wasn't even including Warzone.
That's ridiculous.
But
That's unreal.
anyways,
bro.
That's disgusting.
we got a little more information on what we can expect. It seems like a lot of the leaks that were originally reported are true. You are gonna get a blaster, it looks like. And you are gonna be able to customize that if you pre-order. It seems so. They're still doing the pre-order.
Customize the
You can
blaster if you pre-order.
it seems like if you
If
get a
you
pre-order,
pre-order, boy.
you get the Han Solo the Han Solo look. I don't know if that's
the DL-44.
yeah. I don't know if that's specifically like just if you pre-order, but other.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, so-
it's EA. Of
so
course,
the-
they're gonna put
um,
stuff behind a paywall.
They
Let me
no,
pull
honestly,
this up.
honestly, here's the thing. Here's the thing. In Fallen Order 1, everything could eventually be unlocked.
Well, hey, so here's the thing, real quick. So the pre-order comes with 2 blasters. And also 2 lightsabers. So
Oh,
the pre-purchase comes with 3 different packs by the looks of it. So you get the Scoundrel cosmetic. So you get the Han Solo outfit.
That's
You get the Han Solo outfit. You get the rugged BD1 cosmetic, which is like the Endor skin. And you get the DL-44 blaster. So you get Han's blaster.
Okay.
The next one is
Endor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Endor costume, only it's minus Han's like green trench coat. The second pack is the new hero cosmetic pack. So you get the Rebel Hero cosmetic skin for Cal, which is like the Luke's yellow jacket from the ceremony.
Luke's fit from the end of 4.
Yeah. You get the Astro BD1 cosmetics. You can turn BD1 into R2D2.
Nice.
And you get the Rebel Hero lightsaber, so you get like Anakin's
lightsaber.
Yeah, Anakin and Luke's lightsaber.
Like that's what I want. Like they just need to add more of that. Like it doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't make sense. So how does he have Anakin's lightsaber? Like it's a video game. They just need to add more.
It's a cosmetic. Leave it alone.
Like they just need to add
it's
more.
pre-order.
Like they need to just add more stuff like that.
The last one is the Hermit setup.
And
it's
Ben Kenobi.
It's Ben Kenobi, but the Hermit lightsaber. If you look at the tweet I sent y'all earlier, it looks like his lightsaber from Ben's lightsaber from the Phantom Menace.
Oh, the OG?
Yeah, the OG, and you also get the combustion blaster, which kind of looks like the one. I think it kind of looks like the one he used in the Kenobi show. It's got like the leather wrapped grip.
I'm just pulling it up right here for the audience. Star Wars Jedi Survivor leaks makes early 2023 look like mayhem. Steam page was briefly populated with the release date, content summary, and pre-order bonuses spotted. Dark times are closing in with enemies new familiar surrounding him. Cal will need to decide how far he's willing to go to save the closest to him. Cool.
Oh, wait a minute. That sounds very much like Force
Yeah,
Unleashed, where you could pick how if you're gonna treat something with the light side or the dark side, like what kind of.
yeah, kind of
It
like
sounds
a
very
Mass
Force Unleashed
Effect
too.
What do you
Paragon
have a little? Do you
Renegade.
have a little nugget? Do you have a little source? A little something you'd like to share, or are you just speaking out of your ass? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm Doug. I mean, yeah. I'm just saying that sounds very Force Unleashed too. Very, very infamous.
Well, I
Where
mean, if it is, I mean, we are also rumored to be getting a Star Killer
we are rumored to be getting a Star
appearance.
Killer cameo or a
So
Star
that
Killer appearance.
Uh,
Yeah.
hey, so this is that four photo tweet I sent y'all earlier. So
Yeah.
it gives a briefing about this game. The story of Cal Kestis continues in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, third-person galaxy-spanning action-adventure game from Respawn. Narratively driven, single-player title, picks up 5 years after Fallen Order.
Oh
Follows
wow.
Cal's increasingly
Wait.
desperate plight as
For
the
reference,
galaxy.
when was Fallen Order exactly? Was it?
Fallen
3.
Order was
It was
4 years
pre-rebellion,
before.
right?
Yes, because
Was
Cal
it 3 years
was
after Revenge of the Sith?
No, it was at least it was at least 10.
14 BBY.
14
14
BBY.
BBY?
14 years
Okay, so this
before A
is going
New
to be
Hope.
9. So this one's
Okay.
going to be 9 years before Battle of Yavin. So,
Okay.
yeah, pushed to the edge of the galaxy by the Empire, Cal will find himself surrounded by threats new and familiar. As one of the last surviving Jedi, Cal is driven to make a stand. Continue Cal's journey, no longer a Padawan. He's grown into a powerful Jedi Knight.
So, hold on. The events that are going to take place in this game are also going to be the events that took place in Kenobi.
No.
You mean it's gonna be this? It's the same
Fallen
year?
Order takes place 5 years
hold up.
after Order 66, and then Star Wars Jedi Survivor takes place 5 years after that. Both Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Obi-Wan Kenobi are set 10 years after Episode 3 in Order 66.
Okay.
Hold
So
up.
basically, it's just the same time period.
No. Because pause. So you're telling me in 9 years, you're telling me that Ewan McGregor turns into Alec Guinness?
Yeah,
Man,
I
that
could see that happening,
desert's
especially if he's
brutal,
training
bro.
with Qui-Gon. Then
But that's 9
Dude,
years. And you're
Tatooine is
telling me,
completely unforgiving.
I guess, but my man, that's a rough 5 years. That's a rough.
Oh yeah,
9
so
years.
it's a rough.
he probably
9
had
years.
multiple Riva encounters. Who knows?
Shut up.
Yeah.
It's a
so
multiple.
let's go-
It's a hard 9 years, especially if you're living in a cave with like no real protection from the elements.
And you're constantly on the run, and you're constantly
My
stressing
man,
about keeping a
he
kid
lives
safe.
in a house. He lives in a house.
What do you?
My man got himself a house. If you watch episode 4,
I mean, he
moved
did get
out the
himself a
cave.
house.
He
He did
moved
get
out
himself
the
a
cave to
house, but like,
house.
I don't know. Maybe he's meditating in the sands because
This week on
connection
MTV
to.
Cribs.
Maybe he's meditating in the sands because it's better for
Yeah.
the Force.
Maybe
In
instead
order
of
to
ice
break the
baths,
sand, I
he
buried
takes
myself in the
hot
sand.
sand baths, and he just covers himself in sand.
Hey, my
I mean, it's
boy
rough in
looking
its course
extra
and it gets
crispy.
everywhere, but maybe it's exfoliating.
Yeah,
You never
okay.
know. So
Hey,
now that we got that settled,
real quick, last thing for this one too. It sounds like they're for was it Jedi Survivor? It says discover new planets. So it sounds like they're bringing in new locations to check out. So I'm really interested to see what kind of planets they pick up out of nowhere to just kind of drop him in, to just drop Cal through. So I'm a little curious to see what they do with this one, because if you watch the trailer for it, if you notice like Seer and not Prof, who is the pilot? Seer and
Grease.
Grease.
Yeah.
Neither one of them and Mara. Was it Mara?
Marin.
No, none of the three of them are in the trailer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I
all
don't
of them
remember
have
seeing the
been
three.
like snatched.
Yeah, they're either snatched or they got split up. Or
one of them's
they're
gonna
all on, like,
die
different
straight
they're
up.
on different splinter missions.
I
I'm
think
thinking it's gonna be Seer. I think Seer would probably be the most effective death for Cal.
yeah. I mean, who
Although
knows? Maybe maybe they
if they have the
Marin.
nerve to kill her off screen, that's gonna be a bit much. If you like start up, or maybe that's something they'll do in the intro of Jedi Survivors. They'll start up the game, and like the opening cutscene, you'll have them get discovered by the Empire, and they all splinter, and Seer gets killed in the oncoming assault, and Cal blames himself.
Maybe she
and
gets
decides
killed
to forge
by.
off on his own.
Maybe she gets killed by the Inquisitor.
That's kind of crazy. Opening up with killing off Marin would be kind of great. Like that'd
Not
be
Marin.
wildly
Not
disrespectful.
No, I don't think Marin. I think Marin's gonna have a better part to play because she was only really in the game for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're being for
No,
real.
if it's gonna be
Like it
anyone,
depends on
it's gonna be
when you
Seer.
did Dathomir. If you did Dathomir correctly, she was in there for the last 20 minutes.
Right, not
No,
like me
no,
the
'cause
first time I played. I was
'cause-
like, let me go to Dathomir to get the
You're an
No,
idiot.
bro, even if you do Dathomir first, if you want to go and get your double blade lightsaber first, and you go to Dathomir, bro,
Yeah.
she's still only in it for like. She comes in, she's like, "Hey, the hell you think you're doing here?" And Cal's like, "Nah, man, I'm actually a friend." She goes, "Yeah, psych," and dips out. And then she comes back for the last 20 minutes. So she's only in it for like 22
Wait, so
minutes.
is she
if you wanna
really
be
not
accurate.
in? Is she really not in?
The trailer?
Is she no? I mean, is she really not in like the cutscenes? If you do Dathomir first.
No, bro, Deadeye, if you go to Dathomir first, when you first like encounter the Night Brothers, she pops up, gives the Night Brothers strength because Cal, she's like, you don't belong here. He's like, I'm a friend. She goes, yeah, but your actions are saying otherwise. And he like goes a step forward. She like gives the Night Brothers steroids. Then she just like pieces out, and then she pops up
She gives
later.
him creatine, that magical creatine.
Yeah,
Only the best. No, she
eyes
gives
will-
him. She
Magical
gives him the.
pre-workout.
She gives him the Liver King stack.
Yes.
Jeez.
All natural.
If you know, you know.
All
Primals,
natural, baby.
eat my testicles. All right.
Hold on.
That's just. That's gonna go over so many.
No. The thing was, when he said eating bull testicles is good for you, I was like,
No.
Bro, can he
We
please
should
be a
know.
DLC? Come on now.
No, bro. We should have known. We should have known then and there that the man was pushing some shit. But no, let's get to the point that
I find your lack of gear disturbing.
Let's get to the point I know David wants to dive into. Boys, we finished the Andor season.
All right. Well, first of all, this is what I want to say. We've missed a lot since our last podcast. So what's happened since then? We've gotten Andor. We've gotten Tales of the Jedi. More news on Mandalorian season 3.
No,
and,
no. It's not Tales of the Jedi. It's Clone Wars DLC.
See, that's
exactly
another.
what it was.
So okay. So we can go back and we can go after you on that after you guys crucify me with my takes on Andor.
Oh my god. Freaking, you know what? Come for me on that one, David. Literally come at me on that one.
So okay, so with Andor, okay,
I got the popcorn.
Before I give my opinions, if you guys want to give yours on Andor, just what you thought of the show, you guys can go right ahead. Just give your opening takes on the show and what you thought.
Sam, that one's all you first, boss.
Okay. I mean, first and foremost, I really liked the change of pace from Andor from these other shows. And for those of you who are like, "Oh, it's not Star Wars. It doesn't feel like Star Wars." Newsflash: Star Wars doesn't have to be flashy lightsaber, leaping through flames, blaster scenes, spinny. Woohoo! This is where the fun begins. Try spinning. That's a good trick all the time.
Spinny
That's
woohoo!
not-
I love how detail oriented you are with that.
Thank you very much.
No, my man had that plan. He was on the bus ride home planning out that one
Oh
line.
yeah, no,
so he could
I've,
say
I've,
it
I've
without
had time. I've had time to think about this.
His,
Let me tell y'all something
his
real quick.
fists
Let me
clench
spit these
anytime
bars.
somebody
Let-
criticizes the show.
No, honestly, like, let me spit these bars for you. Let me spit these facts for you. All
Oh,
right.
here
Now,
we go.
granted, all right. Was Andor criminally slow at times? Yes. There were some episodes where I'm sitting here going like, damn, they really not gonna do shit this whole time. But like every episode had a purpose. It wasn't slow for no reason. It wasn't slow because it needed to be slow. It was slow because it was building up to something. Every 4 episodes, and even in the 3rd episode, because these episodes were really in like it was really like 4 episode arcs, and every third, like the back half of the 3rd and the 4th episode was the action. Like it got real, it got intense, it got heavy. And this is what, like, people say, oh, I want good Star Wars content. Like, I want new, different Star Wars content. This is what you asked for. It's not, is it what you ordered? Like completely? No, but it's what you asked for. It's not going like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about another Jedi, we're gonna bring up another Jedi or another obscure figure into the limelight. No, we get characters that you know and you love, but you literally did not see like for years. Who knew that we would care this much about Mon Mothma's family life? Like, did I think so? No, I didn't give a
come at my
crap
queen
about
like
Mon
that.
Mothma before this show. Now I'm invested in her story and how she became what she is. Luthen? Like, let's not even like Luthen? You want to talk to me about a guy who's willing to risk it all for the rebellion, and a guy who is willing to do whatever it takes? He's the kind of leader that the rebellion desperately needed, because at the end of the day, if idealists like Mon Mothma are the only leaders that you have, you're not going to get anything done. There's going to be no real change. And at the same time, if the radicals like Saw Gerrera are the only ones that you have, you're going to crash and burn up in flames, because like you're just going to keep going and going and going. You're going to walk right into a trap. It's exactly what happened with it's what happened with Steerguard. It's what happened with Steerguard. Like, Luthen is the pragmatist, the middleman, the one who has no connections, no ties, who does everything that he needs to do and everything that needs to be done for the greater good to get things done. Like, this episode, like these episodes showed perfectly what it takes, A, to build a rebellion of this scale, B, the arrogance of the Empire in dealing with the rebellion at first. Like, ISB knew if ISB had any. Okay, to be fair, Luthen played them perfectly. Like, ISB, everything seemed like it was breaking down, and then it seemed like they got a handle on it, but Luthen was still in control the entire time. And not even Daedra could really figure out, like, oh yeah, like oh yeah, like we figured it out. Like, even she was like, nah, there's something up. But at the same time, like, she doesn't know what's going on. She's smart, but she's not smart enough to figure out that Luthen is 5 steps ahead of them. Like, we didn't this is like an action spy thriller type deal, but it makes sense and everything ties into everything else. And it's like, wow, this is a breath of fresh air for the franchise in general, because what we've dealt with for the movies, and even Mandalorian season 2, parts of Mandalorian season 2. No, not Mandalorian season 2. I meant Mandalorian season 2.5, which is basically a Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett was a swing and a miss. Some parts of Obi-Wan, swing and a miss. The last good show front to back that we had was Mandalorian season 2. This show, slower than Mandalorian season 2, but the payoff was well worth it. I appreciate the pacing. I appreciate the stakes. I appreciate, everything that we see of the Empire, the little things, the way that stormtroopers are utilized, as like the crack troops of the Empire. Like, yes, you don't really see them getting in shootouts with rebels, but you do see them absolutely wrecking the civilians in the last episode,
Okay,
and you do see them
wait,
absolutely.
real quick, just to touch on that, just
Yeah.
for a second.
Hmm.
I'm gonna let you finish in a minute, but
Uh,
you say that, but my man, I actually had to pause and rewatch part of the season finale like 3
oh yeah,
times.
no, we're gonna get to that.
The
We're gonna get to the
the
season finale where he dives out of cover and headshots a Death Trooper. Let's not.
no 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 no
That
no
was
no
kind of.
no, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the stormtrooper that gets told by the commanding officer, "Hey yo, head up there and tell that motherfucker to stop hitting his
Oh, he
gauge."
gets Spartan kicked
And
off
he
the.
he
Yeah,
he literally makes it all the way over there, makes it up the entire tower, and then just gets booted out a
he
window.
gets Sparta kicked off the tower, which
I
I think
pissed
honestly,
myself.
it's
I was
it's
laughing
pretty
so
good.
hard.
It's
I
a
pissed
great
myself.
moment, but
I
also
was
the
laughing
part
so hard.
where Cassian dives out of cover and headshots a Death Trooper was
Yes.
absolutely wild to me. I was like, "There's no way, right? Like, what?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But also,
No,
but I
yeah,
mean, we already know that like he's gonna pull off some kind of crazy things because let's face it, he can't die yet. We know how he dies. He can't die yet. Um, but I'm not even like I wasn't even mad about it. I wasn't mad about it. Like it just happened. It's so it was a good show. It was a good show. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Definitely think some things they could have done better. But I really do think that the way that the show was paced and structured was good. The season finale was masterful. Luthen's speech it gave me chills. The that that scene in the dark and the underbelly of Coruscant where he's talking to his imperial plant or his the spy. I was
yeah.
just like, dude, like that's how you write a character. Are you kidding me? Wow. Good stuff.
Seon,
Yeah.
I'm happy you like the show. Um,
All right, before we get all cynical, let me just add to a couple of his points, and then I'll let you tear it apart. Let me just get this like quick couple things in, just to add to his points, and then we'll let you do your Dr. Cynic shit. So, I talked with David before this, and I was saying like there's a guy on YouTube I watch every now and then. I mean, I don't agree with all his points, but his channel is called the Critical Drinker, and I mean he made a point when he was talking about Andor that a couple of points that I completely agree with. The first is like if you watch Andor, you can break it down into 4 arcs throughout the show. You've got Andor's escape from the planet. You've got Andor's raid on the treasury. You've got Andor's escape from the prison. And then you've got the revolt on Andor's home planet. That's 4 arcs. And each arc, it's about 3 episodes apiece. My only gripe with it was like, I really like the slow burn aspect to it because we don't see that as often in a lot of these Star Wars shows that keep coming out. They're all about like crank up the action, crank up the action, crank up the action. It's like the scene with Kylo in was it episode 8 where he's like more. And it's like no. It's honestly really cool to see, the fact that we're getting an empire like this where it's not like, oh, we're just gonna send in a bunch of TIE fighters because yeah, we feel like it. So that being said, one of the things I didn't like, and I agreed with the critical drinker on this one, was he was saying that while those buildups to each arc are great, you could have easily condensed those 3 episodes into like 1.5, 2 at the max, and then you get the whole payoff. Like the prison break, incredible, one of my favorite episodes.
favorite part of the whole show, right there.
Favorite part. It was just honestly like unbeatable. If that was my favorite part of the entire show. Then you had, even the treasury raid. That was pretty cool. Like they've done, like in Solo, they did the whole bank heist, which was, Solo was Solo. Not a lot of people liked it, which is fair. But they did the whole bank heist mission in that, and it's like seeing a Star Wars bank heist isn't typically what you see. Like you're like Star Wars. Oh, we're gonna get the big lightsaber fights, like at the end of Kenobi, and it's like it doesn't have to always be like that. show me the nitty gritty. Show me how, like the rebellion is actually in the dirt, trying to make this work, trying to like find its legs and get this to become a movement. So I agree with the slow burn was good, but it was too slow was the problem. The other thing is like that he made a comment was, and it's like I agree with it, was like this is a good show, but in the wrong time because Star Wars hasn't been doing great shows. Like they've done Book of Boba, not great. They like fundamentally dismantled a fan favorite character over the course of what 6 episodes. Mando season 2, I really enjoyed it, but it kind of turned into Mando and Friends, which took away from the actual title character, in my opinion.
I think we're forgetting about the Bad Batch too, which was kind of forgettable altogether.
Bad Batch, yeah, it was more so like, hey, how can we bank on Clone Wars style animation? Kenobi, not super great. It was kind of you had to like trudge your way through it. And anytime I hear someone like, "Oh, Kenobi was like one of the best," it's like, okay, you say that.
It's like finding a needle in a
But you,
haystack.
but it's like you say that. Do you remember the scene with Kenobi and Leia in the trench coat? Do you remember that scene
Do you
or?
remember Riva? Do you remember Leia's chase
But,
scene? Do you remember any of that?
yeah, but that's the thing is like we haven't gotten. I mean, it's the state with Disney in general. Like the Marvel shows haven't been up to par. Star Wars hasn't been up to par, and it's one of those. It's like Disney's mentality. It seems
Well, that's a whole
is,
topic of discussion for another time about which one's
but
moving in
just
the right
kind of,
direction. Like, obviously, I
but
think
yeah, just kind of
Marvel's
going with this.
definitely in the better
Well, just kind of going with this.
position.
It's like Disney. It feels like Disney's whole thing right now, in terms of Star Wars, is like their mentality as a whole is, oh well, that show flopped. Get another one out. Rapid fire shows out so people don't dwell on one for too long. And with this one, and we'll touch base on. I know you said you want to get into it, and I'm not gonna completely derail, but um, for me, what I've noticed is anytime Star Wars drops like a mid-tier show, a mid to like below par show, what they do is they drop more Clone Wars esque content as kind of like, oh well, that sucked, but I mean, Clone Wars, and it's like, okay, and we'll get into that later. But Andor, I thought was a really fresh take on what they're doing with some of the shows. It was slow, it was a slow burn, but they tackled a lot of themes that I think were really cool. We haven't seen a lot of in Star Wars. And Seon, I completely agree with you, man. Like I had to rewatch that speech from Luthen, and they gave me chills, man. The way Luthen just kind of like coldly tells this guy, was I give my life uh, to watch a sunrise on a day I'll never know, or something like that. Let's see if I can pull it up because I had the exact quote because that was um, I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. That line alone was like, okay, this is a guy who's radical like Saw Gerrera, who we know is like the ruthless guerrilla fighter, but it's in a much more calculating and like, yeah, Saw's ready to go in with like a death wish, but like, does he really have what it takes at the end of the day to sit back and go, man, I've given my life for this. I have nothing else but this. It kind of reminds me of the whole like if you look at the way like Batman's written, where like you see Batman actually is the real character and Bruce Wayne is um the secret identity. And it's you see that with Luthen, where it's like Luthen, the shop owner, is like a facade for the real rebel of Luthen behind the scenes. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it in the future. I hope it does well enough to get another season, and I hope they learn from this previous season and kind of cut down on those filler episodes. But
No, I
I
agree.
hit us with it, David. What you got?
I definitely think the statement you made about, you know, best show at the worst time is very fitting because it seems like they can't string together multiple bangers at once. It seems
Yeah.
like they come out with one thing, whether it's The Mandalorian, and then they take 5 steps back with another show, and then they come out and take like a half step forward, and then they take a few steps back. So
Mm.
I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna repeat myself because I know a lot of the toxic, positive Star Wars people out there think that any sort of criticism is hate speech. I love the show. I thought the show was good. Um, the acting, it was 10 out of 10. The casting, 10 out of 10. Uh, the the budget was clearly this was clearly the highest budgeted show out of the what we've gotten so far. Maybe you can argue that The Mandalorian wasn't or was more, but I think this was more than The Mandalorian. I think this is the first show where they didn't use the volume, which, if you don't know, is like that 360-degree like canvas that they use to like make make their actors feel more like immersed into the world. Um, that's a good thing, but I feel like it's also a bad thing. I feel like they banked on the wrong topic and the wrong setting and the wrong character to be like, this is gonna take off. But these other characters, who to them just clearly seemed like other characters, meaning Boba and Kenobi, were just, oh, those are just to fill quotas. That's just to fill spots. Nobody's really gonna care about that show though. They're gonna want this, like Andor. Like, this is the thing. This is the show that's gonna put us on the map. But you know what happened? They had to put it on cable television because nobody cared about the show. Nobody cared about the character. Nobody cared as deeply about Andor as they would Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett. And so the first few weeks of the show, we're watching it and we're going, okay, well, I mean, this is interesting. It's very slow, but I assume it'll pay off. But then you're like halfway into the show, nothing's really happened yet. And then when something does happen, it's like, oh, that's kind of what we waited for. Okay, moving on. When it comes to what I liked most about the show, or what my favorite thing about the show was obviously the whole prison break thing and the fact that it was very poetic, that he built the thing that destroyed him in the end. I thought that was great. I kind of saw the Death Star post-credit thing happen from like a mile away. I did not expect any cameos of either Vader or Palpatine. I did not want those cameos of either Vader or Palpatine because it just goes to show you how little of a problem these people are to them, and that Palpatine and Vader are like, you do not speak of them because they are so unknown but yet so widely feared in the galaxy. And obviously, you know, the Senate is still intact, so Palpatine can't be going out doing stuff with the Senate knowing, i.e., the Death Star. Like, he kind of has to stay not hidden, but, you know, slowly take control. He can't just come out, you know, put a schlong on the table and say, okay, what I say goes. Meanwhile, the Senate's still intact, because that just won't fly, especially if he doesn't have a planet destroyer that he can use to take out any planets that disagree with him. But overall, my opinion, the show is good, not great. To me, it just didn't really feel like full-on Star Wars. And that doesn't mean I wanted mindless lightsaber fights and mindless, you know,
Hey, say
explosions.
you want to give us your breakdown of Star Wars again?
And what?
Sayon, you want to give us your breakdown of Star Wars again?
Yeah, fast pew pews or whatever it was. I don't even know if he's there. I hope he heard me, because if he didn't hear any of that,
I heard.
Okay.
It was the spinny.
Spinny.
Yeah, it was jumpy flippy lightsaber spinny pew pew.
Zune.
This is where the fun begins. Try spinning. That's a good trick.
Anyway, okay. So what I was saying was, I
heard, and I did hear you, and I can respect that opinion. I can respect those points.
And I still feel like I just feel like they really missed the mark, and they really don't have a grasp on what the audience wants compared to what
I mean,
they
because no,
think.
it really depends on what you view as the audience. Because as Star Wars fans, like the fandom is divided right now. There are some
Well,
Star Wars
the fandom's
fans.
been divided since The Last Jedi, so I
Yes.
really don't know if we can keep using that when a show. Oh, the fans are divided; they're never gonna get what they want.
No, no, no. I'm not. Well,
Like
see, this show didn't flop though, so you have to approach it differently, right? This show was good. We've all admitted that this show was good. There's moments that there's things that it could have done better, but overall, it was a good show.
I will
Um,
say, because you guys know when this
I
first
find
was
that hard to
announced, I
believe
was
though,
telling
because
y'all that
it
like
was put on cable television for a reason. They didn't just say, "Oh, there's an
no, no, no,
8:30,
no.
9 o'clock
The
slot
thing is,
full." They put it on there because they knew that nobody was
no,
watching
I
it,
don't. I
and
don't think. I don't think that they put it on cable television because it flopped. Like you don't go to cable television for more views because your show is flopping.
that's
That's not
facts.
why you go to cable. Like cable is a dying breed.
well, there was
You don't go to
clearly
cable for that.
a reason as to why it was put on there, and
Yeah,
it either has to do
there was a
it
reason,
either has
but
to do with the making up some of their profit, get more AdSense ad revenue, however that works, or to get a wider audience range. Um,
I'm willing to believe that it was about wider audience range before oh the show is flopping. Like you never you never go to cable to get your views
Wish
back.
your car's air freshener didn't start.
Like that's insane.
I just either way, I just don't think it's a good look. And I really think that if you want to blame somebody, and if you want to, reason as to why this show, in my opinion, is not getting a chance you guys might think it deserves, just look at the other shows. Look at Book of Boba and look at Kenobi. I guarantee you, so many people after those shows said, "All right, I'm tapping out. No more, no more Star Wars for me, unless something drastically changes," which we might see coming in the near future. We will get to that either in this episode or in a next episode, with Bob Iger taking over once again. I just feel like each show that they come out with, or whatever they come out with, is a stepping stone for the next, whether it's good or bad. Like, The Mandalorian was obviously like, oh my god, live action Star Wars shows, they're back. They're going to become a thing. It's going to be great. We're going to get like a Book of Boba. We're going to get a Kenobi show. We might get like I don't know, a Luke Skywalker show, a Mace Windu Vader show. We've gotten
I
a
would
Book of
kill for a
Boba.
Mace Windu
We've
show.
gotten a Book of Boba and a Kenobi show,
Yeah.
which you can argue that both of them have been an abject failure. And it's like, well, what do you like? I just don't understand how they can look at that and go, okay, well, this is going to be the thing that pops off. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people say that this show, Andor, is what Star Wars has always been or always needed to be, and that it's like the peak. And to that I say, what are you? To that I say, what are you smoking? Because that is
David,
what Andor
David,
is not what Star
David,
Wars.
what
Go
I
ahead.
think they're trying to say is that what this is supposed to is that this is well written. Like
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Star Wars.
David, it may be slow, but it's well written. Like it's the writers and actors. I mean, they cared enough about this to do it
Well,
right. If you look at if you look at the way Boba was written, like this isn't meant to be like episode 3, like the Mustafar scene. This is like
no, but this is the issue though. Whenever
But
like
no,
anybody
David,
says that they don't like the show,
David,
they
give me a sec.
instantly think, "Oh, you just don't like lightsaber
No.
battles. You just don't like." No,
No.
like I even said
No,
the
but
show
then-
is good.
No, but that's not what they're saying. It's just like if you look at Boba, like just straight up bear with me for a minute. Like the actor who played Boba Fett, Tamora Morrison, has been stated in interviews that that his character is wrong in that show because the writers didn't listen to him.
Which
Like
is a
he said, he
shame,
actively
because the
told
first
he
few
actively
episodes were
told
good.
well, he actively told the writers that they're like, you have my character speaking way too much. Like Boba's whole draw in the original trilogy was that he was a quiet guy. He was not meant to be this, like, this constantly speaking,
He was supposed to be like a very
wisecracking, like a
stoic
bantha.
and just sat back and watched everything unfold
Yeah,
type
he
thing.
had like 5 lines in the original trilogy, and literally one of them was like screaming. But that's what I mean is, like, if you look at Andor, you see the scene where Luthen gives his speech to the Empire informant. You see the scene where you've got Andor, grieving for his mother after she passes. You've got these scenes where it's like these are characters that aren't gifted with force abilities. They're regular average Joes who have to deal with a tyrannical government coming, like, taking over and then destroying their lives. And it's like, well, what do we do? And it's well written. That's, I think, what a lot of people are giving it credit for, is that it's not like Kenobi, or it's not like, Boba, where it's like, oh, well, we're gonna have, again, I'm gonna refer to it again. We're gonna have Kenobi walk through a Inquisitor headquarters with a little girl under a trench coat, like that's a well thought out plan and not a Scooby Doo fucking mystery.
No,
So
I.
it's little,
Wait,
it's
so
little
you're
things
telling
like
me,
that
so Peter, you're telling me that we shouldn't Scooby Doo this shit?
we could, we absolutely could.
Can we
Scooby-Doo
please?
this
I'd
shit.
like to.
But that's what I'm saying is that, like, that's what I'm saying is just, I think when people are saying this is what Star Wars has been, they're saying that it's well written, that, like, the writers put a lot of care and detail into the way that this show unfolded versus the some of the stupid decisions they made with past shows that they have put out. That's more so what I think they're trying to say when they make that claim.
And to that point, I believe that this is the best Star Wars show we've gotten since
Mm-hmm.
since Mando season 1.
I was gonna say since. I still think Mandalorian season 1 is better. That's just my opinion.
No, that's fair.
That's not
fair.
a hot take. That's not a hot take.
No, I know
will
that. I
absolutely agree with that
I
statement.
just can't seem to fathom that people think like this is the future of Star Wars and that this is what it needs to be and this is everything that we need. Like
I don't think it's what it
when
needs
the
to be,
director
but
of this freaking show flat out despises Star Wars, I don't want the director of a show to be like the future helm of like where the franchise is going. I said this to Peter earlier. If I'm like the owner of like a steakhouse, I'm not gonna go hire a freaking a pizza chef or a baker to to cook my steaks. I'm gonna hire somebody who's got the freaking knowledge and who's who has the credentials. Like I just feel like there's a lot going on in the writing rooms at Disney where they're just hiring like random people left and right to either please certain people or meet quotas. Or like, do you know the person who's supposedly in charge of writing the next film aside from Taika Waititi? Do you know what their track record is? And this thing could be scrapped. I don't know. And I think she's working. I forget if it's a movie or a show. Her track record, as far as I'm concerned, is 2 episodes of Miss Marvel. So
Yikes.
like I don't know like where you. Meanwhile, in a clip, a soundbite I heard of Kathleen Kennedy. This is like a few years ago. I think this was before episode 8 or 7 released. Kathleen Kennedy said, "Yeah, well, I got a bunch of like male, very talented male writers and creative minds who are just absolutely passionate about Star Wars, and they come to me every day saying, I have this idea, I can give you a new trilogy, I can do this." And I look at them and I say, well, that's great. I just don't really know if I'll ever go to them. But meanwhile, I don't really have a lot of female writers who come to me, so I'm just gonna take on any other female writer that I can get, even though like she just doesn't care about getting people who are qualified. She just like it doesn't matter who's writing the story if it's a male or female. I mean, I really don't care. Just they seem to be like not paying really close attention or doing any homework on who these people are that are writing and directing these shows.
You got to also keep in mind it's the same woman that said they didn't have any
Source
inspiration
material, or source
any
material.
any a source material to
So I just
create new Star Wars content. So
this like I think this
grain
is
of
gonna
salt.
be the breaking point for most Star Wars fans, and it's probably gonna end up leading to Kathleen's demise, which I hope, because I don't know how you guys
I
feel.
think end of career, not demise.
I think I think that I don't know how you guys feel, but I think we need a change, a leadership change, for the direction of the
We've needed a
franchise.
leadership change for a while, if we're being real.
But I think it's time. As far as who that could be, I don't know. I guess you could say give it to Dave Filoni, but then he probably won't be creating anything. So
well, I mean, again, okay. And I'm gonna now use this as a segue because I know you wanted to get into it. Speaking of Dave, no, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted on me now. All right.
it's too late. They're gonna twist you. The cancel. They're gonna twist you. They're gonna make you seem like a terrible person. That's what happens.
Don't get me wrong. I love me some Clone Wars. Now, Sayon, you missed this conversation. I had this with David before we started, and I kind of made a comment about it back when we were talking about Andor. But I have found so far when it comes to Star Wars shows with Disney, when they find that they're not doing well with some of their shows, unlike Marvel, where they just crank out a new live action one, Disney seems to have this habit of just immediately returning to something Clone Wars affiliated. Hence, we get Tales of the Jedi. Now, don't get me wrong, great show. No issues with the show. But again, it more so felt like DLC because they were like, oh, yeah, people aren't really liking Andor. And we know that it's not really going to do potentially super great. So, Clone Wars. It's kind of like pocket sand. If you throw it in the audience's faces, they won't notice. It's like, oh, well, if I blind you with pocket sand, you won't notice how badly we did this other show. And I stand by this statement. I love Dave Filoni and what he does. I can't stand that it feels like Disney doesn't have the capacity or the drive to want to hire decent writers.
It's about drive. It's about power.
Exactly. So what they do is they keep going, oh, well, Filoni will fix it. Filoni will fix it. Filoni will fix it. Maybe, Filoni and Favreau will fix it. It's like, listen, you are going to overwork the guy. The guy is well known for how much care and effort he puts into the universe. But one of the things I noticed, and I was saying this to David earlier, Clone Wars wasn't Disney started. Clone Wars started on Cartoon Network. And like the only reason we got the final season was like the final season was already written and ready to go. They just didn't have the Cartoon Network pulled the funding to do it. So Disney came in. And what happened was it was like Disney came in at the 11th hour on a group project, slapped their name on it. Like, oh, hey, here's $5 for the materials to finish this project. I'm going to slap my name on it. Look, guys, I basically did Clone Wars.
Did the work.
Like, no,
give me the
you
credit.
didn't. Yeah, but that's the thing is like that. It seems to be like that's what Disney is consistently doing is like their crutch is that whenever they don't think that a show is going to do well, they just give us something Clone Wars affiliate. The effort to actually do something, to actually put in work for a good show. They kind of just throw it in there like,
I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. Y'all can keep talking. I'll be right back.
I mean, you can tell me if I'm out of pocket on this one, Sam, but I mean, it's just to me that seems like the pattern that we keep running into.
No, you're right because they fall back on Clone Wars because it was so wildly successful and like it was good. It's a great formula, but it's gonna get tired soon.
Mm-hmm. Like I think that's what people were saying about this when it came out was like, great, but like, why? Why do we need this? So, I love it, but yeah, I'm just kind of, and I mean, don't get me wrong, the animation for this, the Tales of the Jedi looked phenomenal. It was beautiful.
Yeah, no, it was very well done.
if you go and watch like the Clone Wars movie, and now watch
We don't
like
speak
Your
about
boy's
that.
Tales,
back.
We don't
and
speak
then watch
about
Tales.
the Clone Wars movie.
Hey, we talk about. Hey, remember your roots, boy.
So,
Remember your roots, boys.
while I totally understand what you're saying, in regards to like, oh, we screwed up. Don't worry, we have your little fix here. You guys are a bunch of sluts for Clone Wars, so here you go. And it's like you finally
No.
looking at the plate, going, no, like, we get it. We love the Clone Wars, but this isn't your work. I just think that what Tales of the Jedi has done is open a new window of opportunity for what they could potentially create. Like, it's clear that animation is their bread and butter when it comes to whatever they create, whether it's Clone Wars content or Rebels. It just seems like animation is their bread and butter, and all the live action stuff seems to be, for better or worse, flopping. So I think it could open
Maybe not flopping, but it's definitely not their strong suit, and they need to figure out why.
like
No,
maybe
what they're
if
doing,
you were to
what they're
take
doing
like
is they're copying the DC formula because DC animation is goated, but their live
Yeah.
action is trash.
Yeah.
like
And Star Wars is like copying that same thing where it's like our animation, god tier. Live action, it's mid.
but so with that being said, I think it opens the door to like, okay, they can do like Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Old Republic, Tales of the Bounty Hunter, Tales of the Wookiee. Who freaking knows? They could go on, right? And it could be like, this is where they could like open up and be like, okay, I think animation is going to be like the way to go moving forward. Not to say they're never going to do live action stuff, but maybe like they wait until
Maybe
like
they save the live action for movies.
yes, either for movies or like shows that have already been like you can't cancel because they're already being produced. Like, I mean, hey, they probably could just cancel Acolyte and season 2 of Andor.
I'd like to see Acolyte before they cancel it. I'd like to see it.
Acolyte.
See, I still don't know what it's about. If I'm
Again,
being honest.
here's the thing.
It's
with
about
Acolyte.
the Sith.
It's one of those things where
figure,
it's like, we're in the same position where we were with Kenobi, where it's like, this is gonna be great. Oh my god, let's see what happens. It's already gone through a ton of rewrites. It appears that it's being rushed. I don't know if that's exactly true or not.
Honestly, at this point, I don't care about rewrites. I just want them to get it right.
Oftentimes, when a show is rewritten, particularly with Star Wars, it's mainly rewritten because Kathleen Kennedy didn't like the way it came out. I'm gonna look up Acolyte and just read the.
Well, so that's my thing is like, so you got your animation on lock. You know the formula that's gonna do well for animation. Zero problem with that. Now, if you start turning your attention to like the movies, maybe we won't get another sequel trilogy disaster.
All right, so this is
Like,
the
if you
cast.
actually-
Have you guys seen the cast? Oh, have you guys seen the cast listing for it or no?
For Acolyte?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up
No,
real
I
quick.
haven't. I haven't seen a single thing about it.
That
Honestly,
guy
like
from,
not because I didn't want to. I just
hold
haven't.
on.
I just
I'll
haven't.
pull it up. I'll pull it up for you guys on screen if you really want to see it.
Oh, it's got X-23. It's got the
No
girl who
way.
plays X-23.
Oh, I thought that was Nick coming in.
No, it's also, bro. It's got what's her name?
It's
from
got the
Matrix.
guy from Squid Game. Forget his name. Lee Jung Jae, I think.
Lee Jung Jae.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Daphne Keane who played X-23 in Logan.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm glad she. You know what? I'm glad to see her.
Interesting.
And it's got Carrie
Thank
Ann
you
Moss
for
who
bringing
played
up Logan.
Trinity.
I have a bug to pick with the freaking director of Kenobi. For how dare she compares Kenobi to Logan? Because I just watched Logan a few months ago, like for the first time, and all I kept
Kenobi
thinking,
to Logan.
she said it's gonna be a story and like a character like building narrative like Logan.
That's disrespectful.
Nah, difference is Kenobi survives.
Logan didn't have the high ground.
Carrie Ann Moss plays Trinity in the Matrix movies.
Yes, she does.
Oh, it's her.
Amanda. Okay, so this is what I think is gonna happen. It's
Oh,
based
and
off of
Dean
two.
Charles Chapman. He's from Game of Thrones.
It's based off of two sisters, and I think one of them gets taken, and the other one becomes like a Sith and goes on to find the other sister. And I think it's gonna be Amanda and then Jodie Turner Smith. I think those are gonna be the two sisters. So if I just read and
No, actually, it may be Daphne Keene and
I
Amanda Stenberg
I
because they seem closer in age.
we'll have to wait and see. Maybe. Let me. So the Accolade is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadow. Yep, it's years before.
Yeah, it's in the High Republic.
It's right before episode 1. Padawan
Honestly, I'm not mad about
with
it.
her Jedi
I'm not mad
master
about
to
it.
investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. High Republic, Jedi its prime, and it's Star Wars Phantom Menace. Blah 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 blah.
Oh,
Cool.
episode 1 isn't even coming out until August of 23. Oof.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has been maneuvered. We got the Mando season 3 in March.
Yeah, did you guys see the first still for that one with
Yeah,
Mando and Grogu?
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
I
pretty
did.
cool.
I'm looking forward to what they do with that
So
season.
we have. So that's the new. That's what we're waiting
Oh,
on, right? Is it that or is it Bad Batch? No, it's Bad
Ahsoka's
Batch.
been announced too.
That's late next. That's probably like right around this time next year.
Yeah, because the Ahsoka show is. I think they've announced that one.
I think.
I don't know what the release date for that one is though.
So what I think is next is Bad Batch, which is gonna bleed into Mando, which is then going to bleed into what? There might be a pause. I don't know unless I think there's another
I can't wait for a Mace Windu show where he just comes up on screen. He goes, "It's Windu time."
It's Mason time actually.
Mason time. It's Mason jar
Season
time.
3 we got Ahsoka. Now, as far as when it's coming, I don't think there's really even a release. But apparently, I mean, I think it's confirmed. Is it confirmed that Hayden is gonna be Anakin? And has it been confirmed he's gonna be in Ahsoka? That's what everybody's saying.
I wouldn't mind it. Who plays Anakin? It's
Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, Rangers of the New Republic. Didn't that get axed?
Rangers of the New Republic did get axed, yes.
Right. Okay. So that's old. This is an old article.
Who played I know people are gonna get pissed at me at that. Who played Anakin in the Clone Wars? It was Matt
Lanter.
Matt Lanter, thank you. I know James Arnold
he ended
Taylor
up getting
played
sick.
Obi-Wan.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I think he ended up getting pretty sick. I don't know if he's better now. I'd imagine so, but either way. So as far as movie dates go, there's Taika Waititi's movie, which is supposedly not even.
That's
ready
still in limbo. That's in development hell.
Taika doesn't even want.
Which one is that one?
He doesn't.
We don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, he wanted the trilogy, right?
He doesn't even want to do it if it's gonna have like a rush. And I don't even like this. Like, I'm reading this here. He said he would be exploring a new side to Star Wars. Look, I think for the Star Wars universe to expand, it has to expand. I don't think that I'm any use in the Star Wars universe making a film where everyone's like, oh great, well that's the blueprints to the Millennium Falcon. Chewbacca's grandmother. That all stands alone. That's great. Oh, I would like to take something new.
He's not wrong.
I mean,
so my favorite.
He also did that with
that too was
he did that with Thor, and like look how that turned out. So
did you guys hear about what I don't know how if he was just messing around, but you heard what he said to Natalie Portman on the set of Thor, right?
Have you?
He asked her if she wanted to be in a Star Wars movie. She's like, I've been in 3.
But apparently that was a joke. But I mean,
right. Yeah. I've been in 3 is wild. I love that.
Well, have you not heard that? He like straight was like, oh, I was thinking about doing a Star Wars movie. Do you want to be in it? It's like, I have.
It's like, who are you talking about? Who are you talking to right now?
That is
like, who do you think you're talking
to?
Apparently, the Lando show was supposed to be a thing, but Donald Glover was recently like, "Why don't you ask Kathleen?" And Kathleen was like, "Why don't you ask Donald?" Back and forth, like, just shut up.
Let's say something about the prequels.
Did they bring in our boy back for that one?
say something nice about Jar Jar Binks.
Were they bringing our boy back for the Lando show?
Yeah.
Donald?
Yeah, were they bringing Donald Glover back for that one?
They were gonna bring him back for the Lando show, yeah. He
Be
played such a
interesting.
good Lando Calrissian.
He did.
I did, yeah. You know, man, he's got charisma. That's my thing. Is like if you ever see like his comedy shows and stuff, he's got like Community and stuff like that. Like he's got the
Well, one
energy
thing
to
I
be
feel
like the
like
cocky.
one thing I feel like we don't do enough on this podcast. I know it's strictly Star Wars, but what else have you been diving into in the realm of entertainment? Since it seems like everything Star Wars comes out with is garbage.
I mean, I'm low key waiting on the Willow show. I'm like,
Willow just dropped, I'm pretty sure.
did it? I'm curious
think it
because
dropped.
I rewatched the movie and I'm like, I don't
What
know how
even
you're
is
gonna
it?
make a show out of
What
this.
is
But
it?
Willow?
Yeah, what is
Willow came out before Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's
But
like
it was like
it's like the
it's very
predecessor
much.
to modern.
I'm not into any of this stuff.
He's a loser. What can we say, Sam? He has no appreciation for the
I'm not into
finer.
I'm not into the Lord of the
finer
Rings. I'm not
nerd
into
fantasy.
D and Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not into John Wick. I'm a loser. I'm just
Yeah,
a
but
Star
Game of
Wars
Thrones-
stan who just
oh,
wants to drool over Anakin
boys.
and Obi-Wan having lightsaber dick battles.
Boys,
I don't
have
know
y'all
what
seen House of the Dragon yet?
No, I haven't. I need to
No.
watch it.
I have not.
Absolute cash. That is a banging show.
I need to watch it. Like I need to watch it.
It is honestly a reminder of how good Game of Thrones can be
You know what y'all need to watch?
and how embarrassing
What?
Rings
Peaky
of Power
Blinders,
was.
best show on television.
I do need to watch Peaky Blinders. Honestly, Rings of Power wasn't that bad.
No, Rings of Power
I
was trash.
don't
I will honestly stand my ground on this one.
I don't think Rings of Power was that bad.
Oh, see, my man, we had something good going.
No. Like were there problems? Absolutely, but I like
me,
for what it was. Like
it was
considering that they're not even allowed to work with the source material. Like the Tolkien estate literally goes through and is like, okay, so you can't use 90% of the source material. It's good for what it was.
I guess it more so was like a lot of it felt forced and just didn't make a lot of sense.
A lot of it was forced, but like when you think about that's why I'm saying you got to take it with a grain of salt. You got to understand where it's coming from, because Rings of Power is a show. Rings of Power is a show that like can't even say certain words.
Yeah,
but like how are you going to use a Lord of the Rings show when you can't even talk about like certain things that happened in the lore? Like how does that work?
Well, my biggest thing that I thought was hilarious, bro, is if you watch Rings of Power, and then you watch like the original Peter Jackson trilogy for Lord of the Rings, you see how wildly different Elrond is.
Oh yeah, no, that's
man was a nerd.
I don't know how he aged like that. I don't know how that works.
He aged like milk, bro. He just like spoiled.
Like, bro,
it was not good.
Bro had no business looking like that. He went from a twink to whatever the heck he is in the original trilogy.
This week on Simpsononymous.
But also, what else? As far as Star Wars games go, we haven't really gotten much. Oh, we did get I thought we got a little more information on oh my god.
Was that Black Sun? Was that the other one that was coming out?
No.
Eclipse.
Black Sun.
Yeah.
What the
I mean, it's the same thing, really.
Sounds like a garage band from like the early 2000s.
I mean, it's really the same thing. Like Black Sun, Eclipse. What's the difference?
Yeah, but you gotta be technical, I guess. Didn't we get like? Apparently, that's not gonna be. It's not even in like pre-production. Like they just put out this cinematic just to be like, we're working on a thing, but I'm gonna have like 3 kids and a mortgage by the time that game comes out. They said like 2030. 2030. Like
they basically said 2030.
Like my god, like when was the last time a game has been announced that early? I think it was Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk was announced in like 2012 or 2013, and then they were like, psych, we're gonna wait like a few console generations, and that worked out great.
Yeah, they waited all that time for the consoles to get updated just for the game to
release the epitome of mid. But yeah, so What else? I just wish I don't know. I wish they wouldn't do things like that. That's frustrating. Cuz like it's going to come out and we're not even going to remember it or even care at that point.
It's literally gonna be like, oh, this is a thing, right? I remember now.
They're probably going to like close studio by the time that we even get to that point. Unless we all end up in nuclear fallout. Who knows?
Well, that's not depressing at all.
Thank you for that unbelievably
Thank you for
charismatic
that,
and exciting
Captain
statement.
Captain Cynical.
That's not
Your
Yes.
presence on this podcast is always appreciated.
Yes, you absolutely have the greatest way with words.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you make us feel so loved and hopeful for
For the
humanity.
future.
You know?
Yeah. I try to keep it real.
Just keeping it real and then just doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, you could call that keeping it real. Real
I keep it-
depressing.
I keep it real depressing. I have the same thoughts on. But nah, man, I'm just hoping that given the current string of things, like I don't see an upward spiral with a lot of these decision makings with shows. I'm really hoping that Andor is a step in the right direction. It may be a small step, but at this point, man, I would take a small step over no step.
I can
You know what I
see
mean?
season 2 improving. That is, if I don't know if it's been greenlit or not, but I can see it improving.
Oh, it's probably
given,
been greenlit.
Given the way they ended season 1, I'd be damn
They have
surprised
to.
if it
I
wasn't.
I just remember when Andor was like announced, and they were like, "There's gonna be like 70 plus characters that we all know like appearing," and we were like, "This is gonna be like
That's a bit much.
This is gonna
That's
be
a
a
bit.
cameo fest. Like, my God, we're just gonna like I'm gonna have a little something in my pants if this is even true." But apparently,
Cameo bingo.
yeah, like I guess that was just rumors.
I'm gonna see. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't care about cameos.
No,
at this
I don't
point.
I'm kind of
don't
happy
know.
that
Like-
it wasn't a cameo fest because that would have
like
taken
I
away
said-
from it standing on its own legs.
Like I said, them not showing the Emperor or Vader just shows how little of an issue this is.
Yeah, I think that's
could it
the
be
point.
a big issue if they leaked like the Death Star? Yeah, that would be a big issue. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, it shows that the Emperor and Vader cannot like. It's the Empire is not just Palpatine and Vader.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I appreciate.
Like in
Like,
Rebels,
the Empire can
there's
stand
Thrawn
on-
in
Thrawn, yes sir.
which I mean I hope we get in a. Well, we are gonna
Yeah,
get him
there's
in
a.
Ahsoka.
I think I heard.
We're
for
getting
the
him.
Well, I heard for the Ahsoka show they're bringing back the actor for him.
Which is good.
Was-
I don't know
who-
why
who
studios
was it? Was
don't
it
just
Mads?
do that.
It was Mads Mikkelsen for that. I think it was Mads Mikkelsen who played him as well. Unless I'm tripping and it's
Can find
someone.
out. Lars
else.
Mikkelsen,
I think you're right.
Yes.
Was it him?
Yes.
Dude, I honestly I like Mads Mikkelsen. He plays a pretty damn good character.
He plays a fantastic villain.
And Thrawn is such an interesting. No, it's Lars Mikkelsen.
What?
Okay.
It's his I think it's his brother.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe it's his brother.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's his older brother.
But yeah,
And
that'll
Lars
be.
is phenomenal as Thrawn.
I just feel like we always end up at this point where it's like, well, hey, just look to the future. There's so much to wait on, and there's so much coming out, which is true. Like, I'm genuinely excited for like the future, like as far as shows that are out. But at the same time, I'm also nervous as shit as to what's gonna happen if these shows flop or continue to not do well. Which I have a hard time.
Honestly, like, this is why, like, I really, really, really want to get on a Star Wars show. Like, I want to write a Star Wars show so badly.
Oh, I just get ideas in my head, and then it's just like just bringing those ideas to either like pen and paper or just like on like a just writing it. Just like it doesn't go from here to the paper like smoothly. It's just a mess. But like George Lucas
that's why you have
says-
me.
Like George Lucas says, it's always best well,
that
it's not
modesty,
always
Sam.
best. I think for him, it's
Yeah,
always,
you know it.
He always enjoys writing a story in the middle. So, I mean, if you were to write a story, if I listen, this is what I would. This is like my wet dream for Star Wars. Not a Grievous
Hey,
show,
whoa,
although
whoa,
that
it's not
would
that
be
kind
great.
of podcast. It's not that kind of
No,
podcast.
it's after 9:30 now. It's like Adult Swim, but for
Ooh.
a podcast.
Cartoon Network,
Lord.
but dirty.
Good Lord.
So give me like a Star Wars. It can be a movie. It can be a whole trilogy, a whole saga, or a show, whatever. I don't. Maybe a movie or a trilogy would probably work best. Give me it about this like Sith character, and this is set not even. This is just beyond. Like when we mean far, far away, this is like a galaxy far, far away, not connected to anything we have that's out right now. Whether you want that to be forward or backwards, it's not connected to anything that's out right now.
I'm listening.
Give me a Sith. Like, you guys have played Doom. You know about the whole like the hell and just the demonic cult like shit. Give me Sith Doom. Give me like a
So you
Sith.
want a Sith just slaughtering their way through other Sith?
Give me like a cult Sith leader.
Bane creating the rule of two.
Sure, but like violent and like hell and music times 1,000. Like how many hard guitar riffs do you want in the? Yes, just give it to me. And just make a show about or a movie about that and about, I don't know, a young Jedi rising, finding his place in the galaxy, whatever you want. I don't really care about the rest.
Oh, Fallen Order.
Just sure, okay, yeah. So
I'm sorry, I had to.
Minus the mountain goats and the giant fucking you know what? No, have a whole episode be on this guy trying to fight a frog. Have it be him fighting Ogdo Bogdo. Like the master will drive him out to or fly him out to a planet and go, you know what? I'm gonna train you. He arrives on Bogano. He goes into this tomb looking thing, and he's like, "What are we doing?" And
it's a show about Seer.
He just sees the frog, and he's just like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" And the master's like, "Fight it."
It's literally Seer with Eno Cordova from Fallen Order.
I'll take that.
Oh, so I was talking to you all about this earlier. I got no response, so I'm gonna bring it up now because, respectfully, fuck y'all.
Hey,
how would y'all feel about? Yeah, I know, respectfully. With what is it? The Dead Space remake coming out. How would y'all feel about like a Star Wars horror game?
That would be freaking.
I think that'd be tough.
Literally.
I mentioned in the chat earlier. I really like the
Blackwing virus. I saw it.
Yes.
I just wasn't able to respond.
No, you good. I think
like,
doing that as a horror game would be tight as hell.
Or like something on like Geonosis. Like I said, like I responded, like it's canon that like Grievous was on the planet Geonosis, like in the catacombs, making his way through like very like he would, and just picking apart at his enemies.
Geonosis with the just straight up with the
mind worms or the Geonosis in general.
Because that was
with the Geonosis in general, like that's a terrifying prospect.
Yeah,
like I know some clones would have some PTSD from that.
Like that, like I mean, you could clearly see from Fallen Order, Dathomir was pretty terrifying. So
Dathomir was horrifying. You know what also was horrifying? Kashyyyk.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Endor.
Like those spiders? Nope. There's a reason I don't replay
Kashyyyk. Could you imagine like a game based on like either in Kashyyyk on like Order 66 or like the droid attack on the Wookiees, where it's like you go in and you have to like kill, whether it's Fine Master
bloodthirsty
Yoda
Wookiees,
or the Wookiees, and then like how terrifying.
Nah, boys, give me that Star Wars Battlefront 2 Ewok escape from Endor.
Like
all they had to do was just horror mini
like they could have just made these updates into Battlefront 2, but they didn't want to keep supporting Battlefront 2. So I mean,
yeah, dead game, lol.
Lol.
Like that would be sick as fuck. But anyways, I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yes, sir.
I feel as though we just discussed a lot, and we're gonna be gone for 2 more months, and then Kathleen's gonna be fired. Pedro Pascal is no longer gonna be playing the Mandalorian, and
You're hilarious.
Mark Hamill is gonna come back for
not
another
funny.
another trilogy. Like we're just
That's not
I
funny.
despised a lot of what you just said. I just want to point that out.
If any of that comes into fruition, then
I just want to point out a lot of what you just said
I'm leaving the podcast.
was terrible. And you should never ever speak that into existence
It
ever
will
again.
never
I just
happen
want to.
again. Well, you do know
wanna
about
point-
the whole issues with Pedro and Disney, right?
No, I actually. You do realize that like I don't have the time to read through any of this.
I will.
What happened with Pedro and Disney?
I don't know it all off the top of my head, but apparently it had to do with his contract, whether or not how long he was signed on for, what direction his character was going, issues on set with some of the other creators and / Jon Favreau. I guess there was just butting of
great.
heads. So
Lovely. That's exactly what we love to hear. Isn't
whether
it?
or not
Receipts.
it was all bull crap or not. I mean, hey, I don't know how many seasons of Mandalorian there are supposed to be. I think it's like what, 5? I don't know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
how many.
5.
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to follow our social media accounts down below. And we do have, by the time this podcast goes live, if I'm not a lazy piece of crap, I will hopefully have a TikTok of this podcast account. So I'll be uploading clips on there. Follow us on Spotify. Again, I'll be uploading these episodes on Spotify as well. And if you guys have any takes you'd want us to bring up in an episode, be sure to just message us on our Instagram, which is also linked below. Give us some hot takes. If you want to be invited on the show, we'll be happy.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have some guests.
Happy to bring some of you guys on. If you want to talk about just whatever, life in general, or when you started watching Star Wars, whatever you want to have conversation, please be sure to let us know. But until next time, we will see you guys. See you guys soon. Peace, y'all.
Peace out.
Peace.